Are you looking for an escape from manufactured truth wrapped in selfish agenda? Don't you just want to have a real and raw conversation, all masks and rules aside? That's what you're getting here at Titan Evolution Podcast. Get rid of all the nonsense information and discuss everything under the sun without filters. Listen to real stories of real people who will put your current perspectives to the test, guide you on living the life you truly want, and see everything free from judgment and pretenses. Time to get rid of those unhealthy environments and let your authentic self shine. Here are your hosts, Travis Johnson and Carol Carpenter.
Oh, here we go. Amazing. Thanks for that, Travis. Just before we started recording, Travis decided to drop Carol's a shit talker. So that's what we're all laughing about just prior to starting this. Thanks so much, Travis.
I'm here for you, Carol.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm Carol Carpenter, and this is my charming, witty, and sarcastic Travis Johnson.
Hello, thank you.
Mwah. And we have a special guest today, Reggie Walker. And Reggie is an ex-NFL linebacker for the Denver Broncos and Arizona Cardinals. Is also an author of the book Game Within the Game. And since his retirement, he became a successful entrepreneur, launching Top Athlete Life to help others achieve the best versions of themselves, both professionally and in their lives. Reggie is a mental, physical, and sexual abuse survivor, advocate, TEDx speaker, consultant, connector, and problem solvers for individuals and businesses. Welcome, Reggie.
Hello. That's a great intro. Melody, it's a lot.
Yeah, well, we only hang out with underachievers, right?
Yeah, I imagine.
Are you one of those people that when you hear your own bio, you're like, man, that sounds like that guy's amazing. Like, I forget it's me. When people read my bio, I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. I forget. I don't even know.
Yeah. I look at it and then I'm just like, well, man, that's cool. Oh, that is also me. Also, I don't feel any of that.
Isn't it cool that you don't identify with all of it because you're just you, right? And when you hear it, it's like, shit, did I do all that stuff? And you look back and you're like, God damn, I have. That's pretty cool.
I think it every time. Yeah, I think it every time. Like, whoa, shit. That's cool. And then I just move on with my
Ever so humble, Reg. Ever so humble.
That's right, yes.
So who wants? I know you want to ask a question. Do it, Travis. Do it.
I love asking questions. It's just how we find out more about our amazing friends like Reggie. I gotta know Reggie. I know you fairly well, but I don't know if our audience knows who you are. What makes you a Titan?
I would say what makes me a Titan is the fact that I know I will never stop. I've never stopped. I've never quit. I've never been broken. I've been shattered, but as far as it's to the point where I've never just kept going, it's never happened. I've never freaking stopped. I've never quit on myself. It's never happened. Will never happen. And I think with some of the stuff I've done, it'll kind of show that.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. I know you're also humble, encouraging, and just willing to be a decent human being, which is far and above what a lot of people are doing. So many people are drained every day because all they do is walk around wearing these masks about who they're supposed to be or who they, feel they need to be in the situation. They're never really themselves. And of all the times I've chatted with you, it's exactly it. You're just you. You are who you are all the time. And it's so refreshing.
Yeah, I try. Well, I wouldn't say I
you
try.
You don't have to try.
I literally just kind of just go with whatever's happening. And then whatever happens, I just go with it. I'm completely with whatever's going. And then when it comes down to just my own things and my own agendas and whatever I would want to get out of a situation, I managed to get that. But at the end of the day, I think when I sit here and say too, like, I'll never stop, I'll never quit, it's not just for myself, it's also for other people. Because as far as my goals in life, like, the only thing I do feel that I do get about this reality is that we are here to serve others. And when it comes to serving others, I know that I'll never stop that. I'll never quit that. I'll never stop thinking of things. I'll never stop letting those creative juices just flow sometimes, just to help as many people as I possibly can before, my time's up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure many don't know, your story, and we talked about it when I first met you, and it was pretty incredible. There was a lot of adversities, in your childhood, growing up, becoming a player. All of that kind of lent into you being the person you are today. It takes a bit of breaking you down to build you back up, even better, even stronger. And maybe if you could share, some of those experiences, because I think a lot of times people forget, like, for us, we are where we are, and they think it's a natural progression, but they don't understand there's, all these adversities you have to overcome. And that's also part of the learning process of becoming you.
Yeah, that is true. And that's what I've had to understand with everything that's happened. Well, growing up, I was a military guy, military brat. I mean, lived all over the country, lived in all these different places where he had money, many places where he did it. From the age about 4 to about 12 is when I got molested. And just kind of growing up, it was, I dealt with a lot of mental and physical as well as the sexual abuse. And a lot of that energy, that turmoil, I focused on turning that wrong into a right with basically going into sports. I've focused a lot of energy into sports, as well as other people and helping them out, as well as like my studies. And then I excelled. I ended up becoming like a bigger recruit coming out of high school, went to Kansas State. It was real up and down in college. It was one of those things where I learned a lot of lessons from a lot of things, with basically dealing with a coach going my second, third, fourth years who, what's the best way of putting this?
Whatever you want to say.
Let's just
whatever
say
you need to say. That's how the best way to put that is.
Yeah, let's just say dictator.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
He is a dictator. And I was basically the brunt of the jokes. I was the person that, everything was my fault. Don't follow this guy. And so it led to me to never really even starting more than half a season in college. But I still got a chance to go to the NFL, made the team, worked my way up from an undrafted free agent until my third year. I became a team captain. Played as long as I wanted on a football field, did everything I wanted to do, left the game on my terms. And then, but in my retirement, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the fact that, I did what I wanted to do. I managed to accomplish all these things. But when I looked around, I saw that there was just so few people who actually got a chance to do the same. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a way in which others who were choosing to go down this path of being an athlete could actually just not just survive it, or just like thrive during it and get the most out of it. But the other part of it too was I realized that, man, a lot of things that I'm just trying to teach people is this personal development, like how to really develop yourself going into the situation. So I just started writing. I woke up, I wouldn't say woke up, like I had a couple beers, and then I was up at 3 a.m. one night, literally just trying to figure out, like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to serve others? How am I going to help these people, like, avoid a lot of the same stuff that I've seen and seen others seen? And I saw a YouTube video. It said, hey, if you got an idea, start writing. And then I wrote for 3 years straight. Like it was literally that. Like I just started writing, woke up the next day, just kept writing and writing and writing and writing, wrote a book, and then wrote a course, like a program. It was a program at first, but I ended up writing so much, it was 3 separate programs. And then I had this thing where I was just like, okay, so I created this thing, but I don't know what to do with it. I have no business knowledge. I have no knowledge of like selling or even anything like that. Plus, I've been in a cave for 3 years trying to write this thing. I am super weird around people, like hella awkward, like just awkward. Like it was either I said like oddly too little to the point where people were like, whoa, or I was like, I'm going to tell you everything. You're going to get everything and it's just going to come out. There was no in between. So, you know, I try to figure out how to sell my thing, try to get like around people again. And then I tried to jump out and do it, the business stuff myself, failed miserably because it was just too hard to do by myself with no knowledge of really business or anything like that. So then I let it sit for 3 years. And then while I let it sit for 3 years, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to actually try and figure out how to sell. Plus, I need to understand how to get around people again. So I took all of the BS sales jobs I could take. Like, just, I took all of them. I took all of them. And like, I was. Like,
For example, give us a couple of examples.
Like,
I know some of them. So
yeah, okay,
I know.
I'll tell you. So I sold Medicare insurance. I sold health insurance. I sold final expense burial insurance, which is like the insurance you get for when you die. So if you know get a cremation or a funeral covered, please do that, by the way, whoever's listening, because that horror stories, by the way. Also sold makeup.
I wanted you to tell that story so bad, because I remember you telling me this and I'm like, I wouldn't fucking buy makeup from you. Like you are exactly the wrong person to be talking to me about makeup. And I'm sitting here going, if you can fucking sell makeup, dude, to a woman, fuck, you're the best salesman ever.
Dude, it was like I was trying to gain like experience and figure out how to sell so I could understand how to sell my stuff. And I'm a hands-on person. So I was just like, I gotta just personally do it. Plus talking to people, I need to learn how to talk to people again. So I was like, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm looking at these jobs, going to do these different interviews, and then I go into one, and then it was one that you're supposed to, they're saying that you're gonna sell like Kansas, like Royals tickets, because I'm in Kansas City. And I go to interview, and then the guy who's the owner basically tells me, like, bro, it's not that. Like, period. I'm just going to tell you straight up, like, it's not that. Like, this is what you're going to do. And then he showed me, he pulled out like a pink bag, and he was just like, you're going to go business to business, and you're going to like sell this makeup packet, like this packet of like $140 worth of makeup for $20, and you're going to go business to business doing this. And this is what the job is. And I was like, what, bro? And then he was like, what? And then he
It's your
said,
sales pitch for selling makeup.
Yeah, but the thing that he did that got me though was, one, he was fully honest, which was up until that point, a lot of the BS sales job people weren't honest. But then the second thing was, he was just like, yes, this is going to be ridiculous. I get it, but for everything that you want, I can promise you, I will teach you how to sell, and I'll get you to open up to people again, and you'll be able to sell anything on this planet after this. And I was just like, fuck.
Best story ever. Like when you told me that, I was like, I couldn't even believe it.
No, so the best part about it though, that was probably one of the single best decisions I've ever made in my life. And I will say that Cameron Casada, every time I get a chance to shout him out, I do. Cameron Casada is the best salesman I've ever met in my life. So that guy could sell water to an ocean. Like it was. We would go to random like towns in Kansas, and then like go down main streets and then like sell to like people who are working in stores. And so as far as like anxiety goes, like I was like, oh my God, bro, like I could be doing so many other things. Like, why did I listen to this guy? Like I was like, and I got makeup. Like, how did he got me? Like, how did he get me into this? But I will tell you this, like when I started selling out, like I would sell out makeup to people, I would be like, oh my God, like The feeling, because I was just like, I'm the last person I would buy makeup from. If anybody on the street saw me and was trying to buy makeup from someone like me, don't do that. Like, but apparently I was very good at doing it. And
Probably because you were genuine and the type
I was genuine and I was honest, and I understood, like, you know, how to read people and stuff like that and get their attention and things like the basics of like sales. But what Cam really taught me is really how to be myself and sell. Like, just really the bigger thing he told me in the midst of all that selling knowledge and all that was really how to be myself, like out in the world and get in, like, convey a message to someone. And understand too, at the end of the day, that some people are going to buy it, some people aren't. Like, you're just here for your buyers. You're here for your buyers. Like, or some people here say, like, you're here for your tribe. You're here for your tribe. Like that's it. And he, like, helped me, like, break that anxiety barrier that I have being in a cave. He helped me understand too, when I even came to my stuff, like what I'm going to do with that, like purpose and stuff. I've realized a lot of stuff with that random makeup job.
Right. Isn't it strange that it's like something so obscure that you end up learning the biggest lessons from? Like, it's not just the mainstream stuff that, you know, you sell insurance or you sell, you know, things that people use every day, right? But to be basically a big black man that's walking into a business selling a bag of makeup, right?
I mean, like, eyeshadow, buy it.
Yeah, that's right.
It would sell your ass. It would sell you and would get you to buy the hair dryer and everything. Like the lip balm, you're getting that too. Like,
it is so elegant, the lesson that was learned from that, because in a sense, it took getting over those little limited, you know, beliefs that you actually put on yourself. And if you can get over all those things that you put limitations on yourself with, it's the world's freaking open to you. Literally.
It is. But the thing about it that you really have to be you have to really put forth an effort to really make sure you're making yourself uncomfortable constantly. And that was the thing that really, it was his sales pitch that got me, because he was just so honest and blunt about it. And he was telling me exactly what I wanted to hear and wanted to hear from someone. But I knew that if I did this job, it was going to break everything down. It was like that voice saying, like, you got to do this, bro. It sucks. It's going to be ridiculous, but please just do it. Like, and you got to listen to that voice every time, no matter what.
And by the way, that's where the biggest growth lies, is being comfortable in the uncomfortable, and make that kind of your realm. Like, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, you're not there enough. And that was one of those things too. Like, after doing that, you imagine if you're a 6'2", 250-pound black dude with dreads and tattoos in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, with pink makeup bags, like going business to telling people, like, hey, what's up? Like, $140 makeup, $20. Like, you know, like, what's that? You got
something you don't know, Reggie, is that every guest comes on the show and they eventually tell a story that leads us to grant them a call sign. And it's never pleasant, and it's never what you would ask for. But I think your call sign's got to be cover girl. I'm just saying, dude. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl right here, Reggie Walker.
It actually works, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna be on cover girl one day.
I just remember those, like, Troy Polamalu, like, Head and Shoulders commercials with his crazy big hair. Oh my goodness! Every time had me rolling. I was like, is that Troy Polamalu shilling for, like, Head and Shoulders? Come on. Like, it's just crazy amount of hair. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, what you're doing is great, because it's like athletes, their main focus their whole lives is to become that professional athlete. But when when that ends, and eventually it does end, because either your body gives out, you have an injury, whatever, you might not ever get to actually play, so not having any life skills, like, being an entrepreneur and having an ability to do something outside of what you spent your whole life being. I mean, that becomes your identity. You become a failure immediately when something goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you got to humble yourself. That's a big thing too about it, because, you know, coming out of NFL, like, yeah, Dan Brandon had an ego. I had an ego coming out. Like, you have to have an ego. You have to have an ego doing it. Period. Like, you're on national television. Everyone's telling you you're amazing or you suck. There's no in between. You know, you're under a microscope. You have no privacy. You're competing every single day against the best of the best. You know, you need to carry a big stick with you. Like, you have to have this mentality. I could do anything. I can accomplish anything. I'm invincible, blah, 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 blah. Like, anything that fits into that category, you got to have it. But when it comes to growing yourself into different territories that you haven't even wandered into, you got to fully break down fully break that ego down. That's why when he said that voice popped up. There it is. There it is, right there. You're gonna sell makeup, and you're gonna look like an idiot. You're gonna talk to a bunch of people, and you're gonna break this whole ego crap this whole weird stuff you've been doing, like saying weird stuff in conversations, can't even, or just awkwardly standing in corners. Like, you're gonna break all that down, buddy. Like, and that's what happened.
You have to develop a persona to be able to compete at that level, right? And then when you don't have that persona anymore, I mean, like, you're sitting there going, who the fuck am I?
Yeah. And then when it gets to the point, that's why that whole process of like breaking that down is like, you need to, like, in a real world, like, this period point blank, you just need to like not give a fuck. Like, period point blank. Like, you got to get to yourself to a point where it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to go say this to this person. Who cares? Like, I'm going to say it the best way I possibly can. They're either going to like it or not. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I gotta tell this person whatever they need to get told. It's probably not gonna be good. Fuck it. Like, it's gonna.
At the end of the day, did it come from the heart, right?
Yes,
if you're doing it with the intention of helping them, that's one thing. If you're doing it out of spite, that's completely different.
Yes, that two different. That is two different things. But when you're out in the real world, like out in the world, like I would refuse to live 1 day, 1 minute not being myself. Like, you had to do that shit when you're playing in a league and college and all that, especially when you're upholding a brand, someone else's brand, where you're an employee of somebody else. Like, but when it's just you and you're out in the world, like, dude, you shouldn't give a second of that away not being yourself. So you need to really get used to just not giving a fuck. Like, man, these people are gonna like me, they're gonna like me or not. They're going to fuck with me or not. They're either going to vibe with me or not. Either way, I'm still going to be me. And I'm going to be this, whatever you're going to get, like, all the time. And sometimes you're going to like it, sometimes you're not. But at the end of the day, I know I can rest easy. And if I was to die right here now, I'm going to be content. So I will never let go of that. Like, I have to have that. I have to do that. That's why I was like getting broken down with makeup, and then even asking David to be my like business partner with this stuff, that was humbling as well, because I knew I didn't know the business side of things. David does. Like, I knew I was just like, yeah, I wrote this.
That's what makes him the perfect partner, though.
Yeah, he knows stuff.
You need a visionary, and then you also need the other individual that is the logistical, and he was the logistical, and you're the visionary.
Yeah, Captain is like, that's the same thing. That's why it's worked so well. Plus, two, David's the no guy. I'm the yes guy. I'm good cop. I am good cop. Like, I can
only imagine David going, "Shut up, fuck, no."
David is the perfect partner for me, because there's not a lot of people that are going to sit here and be like, "Man, shut up, bro. Sit your ass." And I'm gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna sit down for now, though." But I'll sit down. Oh, like, because he'll sit there and look at me sometimes. He'll just like take the phone. It's like, hey, no, that's not happening. no, like that's great. It's great to have that, because I will give everything to everybody else. when I die, I'll make sure that everybody has everything. Like I can't take this shit to the grave with me anyway.
Exactly.
Like neighbors, like, nah, you better take some of that shit with you, bro. Like fuck all that.
I love it. I love
No,
you have somebody looking out for you too, though, because
yeah.
everything he's doing and saying no is, for your best interest as well. And he knows that because you are that giving person and you would do exactly that, to even give the shirt off your own back.
Oh yeah, I'd take my pants off too. Like
Oh,
that.
I was in St. Louis with Reggie and David, and it was a straight 2 days of pants off, dance off. No one's wearing bottoms. That's not true at all as far as the statute of limitations is concerned.
Well, hang on. It's only true if you have proof.
Yeah. Do you have proof? Yeah. Then why are you asking? Yeah. Reggie, you said something when you were talking about your background, where you're kind of going through the valley. I know you talked to me before about a couple of these coaches at K-State, and you really struggled in college dealing with, as you put it, the dictator. Like, what was happening? What did they look like? And what was that realization that you finally made to move forward?
So every day up until I had a situation happen in camp where I got injured. I bumped knees with someone. I tried to do this drill and then I couldn't bend my knee, and then I just stopped the drill. I was just like, I can't, like, hey, you got to get someone, I can't run. And then the coach took it as I'm quitting on the team. And I was just like, dude, I literally can't run. I didn't realize I got hurt. Like, I just want to make sure the good drill goes all right. He was just like, no, take your fucking ass over to the bench on that quitter's bench because you're a fucking quitter, you pussy punk piece of shit. And I was just like, whoa, nope. I stood right there. Like, no, I will not. Like, no. Like, no, bro. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, it's like, I got hurt. I did what you told us to do, as far as like, if you get hurt, say something about it. We'll take care of it. No, all this quitter, all this other stuff. No, bro.
So was his motivation intimidation? I mean, was that what
he was a big intimidator. He was a big intimidator. But his big thing was mind games. He was like one of the worst people when it comes to that. Gaslighting, like just one of the worst. Which was the biggest damage that this guy did, because it wasn't just me. There's lots of guys. We had a couple people end up going to psych wards while I was in school. It was really bad. But we're standing there and he's screaming that stuff to me. I said, no, I'm not moving. Then he stops the whole practice and he's like, hey, no, bro. He's like, go sit your quitting ass, because you quit on this team, you quit on everybody, you're going to quit on yourself, all this other stuff. Go sit your quitting ass on a bench. And I was just like, I will not sit on that bench, bro. I will never sit on that bench. I didn't quit on this team, never. And then we kind of started going at it after a while. And then certain people were just like, bro, just chill out. Because how he was doing things was, he's saying things, but he don't really want you to answer. He's just like, go do what the hell I tell you to do and shut up. Mm-hmm. And so when he got to the bench, I just couldn't. So eventually some teammates got me on the bench. I mean, they got me to walk over to the bench, but I just couldn't sit down. I couldn't sit on this freaking bench. Couldn't do it. So he stopped practice again. He's like, I told your ass to sit down on the bench. Sit down right now. And I was just like, I can't. I hovered above the bench. I just couldn't, mentally, I just couldn't get my butt on that bench. Then eventually they were just like, bro, we're gonna punish everybody else. If you don't sit on this bench, sit on the bench. And then everybody on the team was like, bro, you've gone too far. Like, just sit on the bench. So then ever since that moment, he hated me. I had 3 years left with this guy too.
You called us trash right in the middle of everything. You stood your ground. You enforced who you are as a person. You set your boundaries.
Well, you challenged his
people
authority.
Like toddlers.
Yeah.
Try to take a toy from a toddler. Nah, it's mine. Yeah. Or you take something from them like they enforce their boundaries. And then somewhere in the middle, we're told that our boundaries don't matter.
Correct.
We're taught that the thing that we love, that we care about, whatever, we're told to sit down, shut up, or whatever else. And you took that moment to reinforce your boundaries, even though all the eyes were on you, and even though the coach was in your grill, and even though we all know that he knew that he was wrong, you still stood your ground. That's commendable.
Yeah. But it definitely did not feel like that the next 3 years.
Of course it doesn't feel like that. not going to feel great, but you still made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it was one of those things. So every day after that moment, for the next 3 years, he basically made my life a living hell. And he basically did everything in his power to break me, quote unquote. He wanted me to quit. I wouldn't quit. He wanted me to stop. I wouldn't stop. He was so petty as far as I would go into the game and get a sack or like a pick or make like a splash play. And then if you see my film, I wouldn't be out there the next play. So he went really far. He went really far to try to make sure that I wouldn't succeed. He did everything in his power, even to the point where it came to the NFL scouts. He lied to them about, he was just like, this guy is injury prone and he can't pick up a playbook. Two things that I didn't miss a game ever. I didn't miss a game ever at K-State. And in picking up the playbook, I was literally the only person on the entire defense who knew the entire defense. I was the only one. That's why it's like such a.
But you were a threat to him, and he had to discredit you in order to do it, which is absolutely the wrong play in my book.
And then I'm still a kid at this point, and then I don't have power. He even went as far as to got me investigate. I sat down in one meeting room. He sat me and 5 other guys down and was like, "We're getting you guys investigated by the FBI for point shaving." And then I was just like, get the hell out of here. Show me what did I do? And then I'm a linebacker, right? So as a linebacker, you're supposed to disguise a lot of things. So on one play, like an A gap, I had the B gap, which is a gap between the guard and the tackle. So I'm faking in the A gap, which is the gap between the center and the guard. And they snap the play. I jump into the B gap. The guy gets like a 2-yard gain. And then he says, see this play right here? You weren't coached to do that. I think someone has you in your ear. That's why you're going to get investigated by FBI, which is like you're
2-yard play.
You're joking. Like if like anybody really knows like football, like dude, I faked in one gap, jumped into my gap. And they got a 2-yard play. And then we went to halftime. Nothing happened.
This was give up 2-yard plays every play, and it would be 3 and out.
Yeah, like that was a win. We won.
It's a win. That's a huge win. Yeah.
And so I look around this meeting, and I look at all the captains, I look at all the coaches, all the supporting staff, and everybody's just looking down because they're like, no, like this guy, it's his way or the highway.
Yeah.
So then I deal with that, and yes, I did manage to still put out great film and still understand. It sucked when that happened, but it really helped me understand the political side of things too, because I still had to figure out a way to play. I wasn't quitting. So I had to understand that there's more than one way of getting on the field than just being talented, because I was already the most talented one. But they wouldn't play me even with that. So how the hell am I going to still go on the field regardless? It's built off relationships. The head coach didn't like me, but everyone else I was cool with. So it was like one of those things. I understood at the end of each day, there's going to be a lot of people fighting at the end of the day to get their people on to the field. I need to make sure that they're fighting for me. So it wasn't like a manipulation tactic. I understood how to form and bridge relationships with people. It was built on common ground, not on fakeness, not on, sucking up, kissing ass, any of that other crap. Like, no, I built actual relationships with people. And so when it came down to them fighting, I knew that they were fighting for me. And I knew they were trying to get me out there. So I kept getting my chance. And then I produced a great film even though they're hating on me, still got a chance to pick out of 5 teams, even being an undrafted free agent, the situation I wanted to go into. And then when I went to Arizona, I worked my way up there. And it was great that situation in college happened, because the league was way worse than that. Like, at least in college.
Oh, that was a lesson for you to learn it back then so that you would be prepared.
Oh, that was the whole reason why I had the career as long as I did. I probably could have still been playing now because I learned the game of the business side of sports in college. And when I went to the NFL, when I would see certain things that happen, other guys on the teams would be like, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe they would do this. I was like, no, this is exactly what it is. Like, yeah. I knew that from college. Like, this is the business side. Like, no, you guys, like, I knew that, hey, if I'm going to make this team, I better make sure all the coaches know who the hell I am. Like, most people are just like, oh, I'm good, I'm talented, I'll just be good on this, and then people are gonna like, no, you need, if you're an offense, you need to make sure the defensive coaches know you. If you're on defense, you need to make sure the offensive coaches know you. You need to make sure everybody knows you, likes you, you have a bridge with them that you formed on common ground, not kissing ass, because nobody likes that, but just like, man, what do we actually like agree with? What do we get along with? What can we talk about? Like, how can I understand you? How can you understand me?
It's just relatability. You want to be able to relate to them as an individual, right?
Yeah. And there's always something. There's always something. And if you can find that thing, you can form that bridge of communication that's just so much needed in an environment built off relationships. So because of that, I worked my way up there. Even though I was undrafted, my second year, I should have went to the freaking Pro Bowl. I got gypped on that because it's a political thing. It's very political. Oh, freaking fans. It's not just fans. It's political.
Are you griping at the fans right now? Is that what's happening?
I was the best player in the NFL on special teams my second year in the NFL. Watched the film. No one was doing what I was doing. Like, I was KOing guys on kickoff return. Like, like, you got a guy running full speed at you while you're backpedaling. And I would hit dudes and I would flip guys on kickoff return. Like, literally, I hit you right here around this area. And the next thing that after I hit you, the next thing that's hitting the ground is the back of your head. Like, I was deflating guys, like defensive linemen, all these guys, like,
so making people quit. Like the game film you put together for college, like you're putting together a highlight reel for the fans for the Pro Bowl. Like, check this out. Vote for me. Check out this video. Oh,
if I was smart, I should have did that. If I was smart, I would have did that, because they would be like, dang, he's doing this. I was just like, yeah, I'm knocking out some of your favorite guys. But like, worked my way up to team captain my third year, and then I started playing a lot on defense. But learning the system and how things go, I saw the openings. I was like, man, like, because even though I was talented, I understood that you can be talented and not play. You got to understand where the openings are going to be, and then you got to make sure that you're there. You hit that shit full freaking throttle, which is what I did. Saw that they had some outside guys be hurt. I played a little bit in college. I went down, and on the scout team stuff, we had some practice squad guys. I was just like, hey, it's like Arizona, it's 120 degrees outside. Hey, let me get some reps in, just rushing the passer. And then when I'd rush, I'd ask the tackles that I went against, which were the first and second team guys, what could I have done better? And I just worked on it. And then first week I did that. Second week, a guy goes down. Third week, I'm playing. Like, they don't sign anyone else. I'm playing on defense. Then I get this whole moniker of like basically being like a switchblade, or like a Swiss Army knife, because I can play all the different linebacker positions. I could do everything and produce and succeed. And then I do the special team stuff too. So now I've like built like a resume now. And I was just like, if I would have just solely been off like, oh, my talent, I probably would have just played 1 year in NFL. Probably just one, and I would have got cut after that.
But I don't think most athletes think like you either. So they had a very short career because of it. I mean, you capitalized on the fact that you were good at building relationships and making sure even in this toxic environment, you could thrive, and not everybody has the wherewithal to do that.
No, I think I always look at things as you're building your ladder to heaven, right? Like, heaven is whatever you deem as your ultimate vision of things, like that big thing. And you're building your ladder to heaven with the materials that you have around you. And then the thing is about it, we're all in that game. That's how I see it with everyone. We're all playing this game. But, when it comes to the materials, it's not just being able to use the materials that are around you. It's how effectively can you use what you have around you? Because there's people that are, they might come from really great backgrounds and they have all these great materials, but don't know how to use them. People come from really shitty backgrounds, have a really great mindset and really resourceful, but just have shitty materials. It's like life has a funny way of leveling itself out.
And, yeah. You're MacGyvering that shit is what you do.
You have to MacGyver the living shit out of everything out here.
You got 3 toothpicks, some chewing gum wrappers, and a little bit of lime. What you going to do? I'm going to build a helicopter Here we go.
Right. Like,
I'm going to get us the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that is literally the situation that you get dropped into, like a little soul. Boop. Now you're gonna go out here and be MacGyver to get to where you're trying to be, get right back to heaven or wherever you're trying to get to. You got to MacGyver this, and I think that's what it with like the book and the course. That's really what I wanted to teach people is like how to be that like MacGyver in their own lives, like how to really understand how to be resourceful. Because you know how like people tell you growing up, like in life to succeed, you need to have a plan. You need to be resourceful. You need to think with, you need to be focused. They tell you these really big, broad things. Like you need to have a plan, right? But you're not going to teach me how to plan. You need to have a focus, right? But you don't teach me how to focus. Like, how do I actually focus? Like, or resourceful, how do I actually be resourceful? Like, and break it down to me. This is what resourceful is. This is how you
Well, let's just be real. They probably don't know themselves. They heard it from somebody fucking else and they figure, hey, that sounded good. Let me fucking tell you about how to, live your life.
Yes. And so that was the whole point of doing the game within the game, the book, the course, and then doing Tap Athlete Life. That is the whole point. Because to just convey that understanding to someone else, that's why I said it's all teachable stuff. It's just I had to figure it out by falling on my face 1,000 times, and I'd much rather other people not do that and still be able to get the results, because I feel like I went through all that bullshit, so you guys don't have to go through that bullshit. So
although they still have to go through their own bullshit, and the truth is, because
it's inevitable.
We're skeptics. We're all fucking skeptics, and in the end we're like, yeah, that was your journey, right? And then what happens? You still fall on your face. You learn basically the same lessons in in your situation, and then you're like, so I built this path for people so they could take an easier road, and they still chose to take the fucking harder road.
Oh yeah, see, and that's the thing about it too. Like, I think it's a good point, because it's like it's not necessarily like a path, it's just like a way of like doing things, like a way of just viewing things, like having like a certain perspective to have on things. Like, because fact of the matter is, you're right. No matter what the hell I tell them with how many examples, it's just like what you learn from like sales. There's like 10% of people, they're going to buy everything that you freaking tell them to buy. 10%, they're going to not buy anything you do. It don't matter how great a pitch you do. And then 80%, that's when the sales techniques and all this other stuff come into play. But like with just giving them a system, like just look at it this way. I know that if they try and look at it this way, they're going to see the same things that I'm going to see. Like, it's very obvious. It's very simple. Like, you can go that way, fine, go that way. And now you're going to bring your ass right back here. I told you it's black and white, bro. It's black and white. Like, there's in every bit of good, there's a bit of bad, and every bit of bad, there's a bit of good. Like, that's what it is, bro. Like, you get the whole picture. I'm trying to get you to get the whole picture, or like thinking with your focus in mind at the end of the day, like, and how to do that, like how to think with my focus in mind. How do I go about every single day thinking with my biggest focus in mind? How do I even find that? Because that was even with transitioning out of this stuff, like, and going into a bunch of different things. Like, dude, I wrote a college accredited course, and I didn't even have any idea how to even write a freaking course. I never wrote anything in my life. Like,
what though? Tell people how long it all took. I mean, we've talked in the past about like not just the book, but the course and how long it all took. And remember when I was writing mine, you even said to me, it's like, Carol, it's been 10 years. It takes that fucking long.
Yeah,
right?
get it college accredited. I got it college accredited, I think, last October. But up until that point, so I took about 4 months of just, screwing off when I retired. And then that's when I watched the video, and then that's when I started writing. And then it took me 3 years to finish it. Then I let it sit on the shelf for another 3 years because I had to figure out how to sell and do all this other stuff. Plus I need to get myself together. Then to even get it to the college accredited part, that took another like 2.5 years. Like, and then a lot of that was just finding the right person and doing all this networking, going from this person, failing, going there, failing here, going there, failing, having to readjust things, blah, 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 blah. Like, and it sucked. Like, it was terrible. Like but to finally just get that accreditation and know that, like, dude, man, I have PhDs, looked at my shit. Like, like my shit's legit, bro. Like, like straight up. Like, I get, like, but not just say it or like in an egotistical type of way, but really in like, no, it's been checked out by PhDs. Like, to even get college accredited, you got to understand what's in there, like, and how to even get to that point, and like how hard it was to just get to that point, to make sure that you're putting something out there that's, one, safe. It's, the knowledge in it is great. It's going to help people. It's like, dude, man, like, it sucked. Hell yeah, it sucked. It was awful. Like, it was awful. Like, even thinking about it,
you, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Together and accredited. You had a good team helping you.
Yeah, we did.
And I think that's important too.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all this knowledge, you had this curriculum, you had everything. What the fuck were you going to do without the right people seeing it? And finally getting around and surrounding yourself with the right people to help you, guide you through that process. I think that tremendously cut down the amount of time. And had you started with those people, I'm sure it would have been done prior, you know?
Yeah, but also too, things kind of happen how they should, because because I think too, if I would have knew all these people before, I would have failed again. I probably would have blew it up even worse. I had to go
because you hadn't grown yet.
I had to grow.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I had to go do the makeup thing, and I had to
I still love that story.
I had to get to that point where I was just like, okay, now I fully understand. Like, I am not perfect. I'm just like who I am, what I'm not. I had to get that. And so then when I actually got around, when David agreeing to be my partner, and then he introduces me to Dan and Chase, and then they help advise us with our business dealings, and then being able to just like listen to what they have to say, because like Dan and Chase, even David, some of the stuff that they've taught me has just been like
mind-blowing, right?
It's straight mind-blowing. Like, especially like one thing, I think like Dan and Chase, I don't know if I should be saying this. I don't think they'll mind. But one of the things
rules.
that
say what you want.
Yeah, I was thinking like that really intrigued me. And I'm telling you, when I saw this, I went back and thought about this same thing for literally months, and I still think about it. Even though, money and stuff, they're well off. Like, you can buy whatever, like, they're good. They go out of their way to get a deal and to not use their own money to buy stuff. Mm-hmm. And to me, from the environments that I've been into, I was just like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, and it's just like, because there's other ways other than money to get things done. And I was like, what? Like, what? And I feel like it was one of those like come to Jesus moments. Like, like there's other forms of currency, like other than just money.
There's other ways. How many ways are there to skin a cat? Right?
Yeah. And that was the thing. I did that. I could do that with like life and understanding, because I was like, I'm MacGyver like shit out here when it comes to things. But when it comes to like just that part of things, I can personally say I had not thought about that until 2 or 3 years ago, when they actually, like, when I saw it firsthand. I was just like, wow, like this is some amazing shit. I swear, like this is really freaking amazing. Like, how could I, like, and then all I think about is just like how to get things done with like no money. Like, that's all I think about, like, with no money. How can I get?
And that's how entrepreneurs, successful ones, do it. And that's what's so crazy is they'll tell you like, no, do it this way. And you're like, I don't even know how this is going to work. But when they finally show you and it works, it completely shatters your once limited beliefs in what you think is right. And that was like, for me, that was mind blowing. Right. Yeah. And I didn't understand it either, but they have been invaluable to my growth and my transformation too. I mean, incredible people. And it's not that they just go out of their way. They don't need to make more money, to be honest. but they're so outwardly focused in building people up. They're like freaking saints.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna make you do it yourself too. That's the part that.
Oh hell yeah, they're not. No. It's your lesson, darling. You know, you're learning it.
Like, like if I can help you out with this or this little thing, like, yeah, I'll do that. But like, you're going to personally go do these things.
Yes.
Like, which is a lot different from a football environment where you could pay someone to go do all the shit for you, or you could pay someone to go do this, or pay someone to do that, or someone would just volunteer.
Oh, no. They want you to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that I think is what we miss in this day and age is accountability. You know,
and the lessons from falling on your face too.
Oh, lots of those.
Going there and trying to pitch something and just like, wow, that was ass. Like, whoa. Whoa. Or like some connections I've had with some people, I was just like, I couldn't wait to get off the phone. I remember getting off the phone, just like, I remember looking out the window, like, is this person going to show up at my doorstep? Like, don't ever call me again. Don't ever call me.
There's some huge lessons there. Learning stuff through your own, learning from other people's. There's a lot of people that I know that seem to get the opportunity to learn the same lesson over and over and over again, and they're not really sure what's happening. Like, raise your hand right now. People are listening. You guys in studio, like, do you know someone that's been just through a train of shitty relationships? Like, everyone knows that person, right? I don't understand why it's keep happening. I don't understand what's going on. Well, they gave you a lesson, right? You got through the relationship. Lesson's over. Did you learn the lesson? No. All right, bring in the next one. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. We're going to get married in June. The relationship's over. I don't get it. Did you learn the lesson? Nope. All right, bring in the next shitty one. Until you learn
that's
the lesson,
really true. Yeah.
Until you learn it and implement it, you're going to keep getting the opportunity to learn the same stupid lesson.
Right.
Over and over and over and over again. That's so funny.
Fucking brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal and hilarious because
it's only hilarious after the fact.
After the fact, definitely not during it. Just like after the fact, like, damn, I did this 10 times. Like, wow. And it said it every time. Like, wow. Like, yeah, life, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is a comedian at heart. Like, when it comes to some of these things.
They're getting their best laughs out of all us dumb shits. That's
they're eating popcorn. You're like, you think he's gonna get it this time? Like, I don't know. They're taking bets. Like Vegas book in heaven. Like,
yeah, right.
He's gonna get it. Nah, he ain't gonna. I'll take that action. They're eating popcorn. Oh, back in another crappy relationship. Who's got action?
Did it again to yourself. You're just not gonna listen. I literally wrote it. Remember that book, and then you kept going to that same part, reading it 20 times, and you just didn't want to listen. Great, got you.
Yeah. By the way, this was supposed to be your easy path, motherfucker. You know, I laid it out for you, and you're still effing up.
Nope.
I guess we gotta hit this dude with a bus so he'll pay attention.
Right.
Matt Russell. Matt Russell was dead at the scene, for 8 minutes. Before they could get his attention.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. Crazy.
That's crazy. And that's what happens. Sometimes that's the unfortunate part about it. Like, you just got to get
the reality check.
You got to get that check. That was even when I even think about the reason I went to the treatment center the first time, because I was so, because with dealing with all that abuse, like, one of the things that helped me was playing football, because I could just, if wherever emotionally I was feeling, I could just go and let it out on the football field and then burn myself out and then come back home and everything's good. But when I retired and you take that whole part of things away, that release, it was, plus I was also diving into therapy, significant therapy for the first time. So it was like a lot of wounds were just opened up, and I was this state of mind. I was either three people. I was either, I was super happy-go-lucky guy, super depressed guy, or super silent guy. Like, I wouldn't say anything. Like, just wouldn't say anything for just periods of time. Just wouldn't say anything because I was just like, really down.
And by the way, thanks for bringing that up to, the show. Is even somebody like you know, had this knowledge of yourself and went and sought help. Because I think a lot of people, they just struggle through it. They don't ask for help. They just don't have the tools, to make themselves better, because you really do have to break yourselves down sometimes to really understand what is triggering, what's causing you to be this way, and how do I change this? And instead of being three people, why can't I just be me?
Right. And that is especially somebody like me or like you or like a lot of people who are just like, man, I'm so tough, I'm so strong, I can do everything on my own, I don't need anybody's help. Like, and then the thing is, like, I had literally created a whole life where I could sit here and say, like, damn, I did that much shit myself. Like I had very few people helping me out when it comes to certain things. Like, it was me in a freaking foxhole figuring this shit out my own self, like, and nothing else, like no one was coming to save me, I had to save me. But when you're out of that and you're in the real world, like, and you realize that things that helped you before are hurting you now, and you don't have the system that you're using to like do things. It's really great for like business and striving for success and all that other stuff. But when it comes down to dealing with your own personal issues that you've put off to the back burner for years, and now a pebble became a boulder, now you're carrying around mountains, multiple mountains, you're carrying around a whole mountain range, and you're trying to like weed this out from the earth. It helps to have help and another way of doing things, because I needed to understand.
Do it alone.
I couldn't at 27, like I was just like, I was burnt out doing it by myself. Like, I couldn't do it by myself anymore. And I'm glad that I went and saw that help. And it was one of those things, the thing that really got me was when it was the day before I had to go, I'd explained to my oldest daughter what I was doing. And I was just like, I pulled out a cup and I said, like, this is me. I'm like, this cup, filled it up with water, and I poured, like, there was like 4 different cups. And I said, this is you, this is mom, this is your sister, this is everyone else. And inside this cup, this water is like my love. And I give you some love, mom some love, everybody some love, everybody some love. But what's the thing that you notice at the end of the day, this cup is? And she was like, it's empty. And I was just like, and this is where I'm at. Like, this is where I'm
Great
at.
Great analogy.
Like, this completely empty. And I'm going to this place so I can fill my cup back up, so I can be able to pour back into you, mom, and everyone else. And she got it. But this having to do that and then spend her birthday at the treatment center, that was awful. Like, I was sitting there thinking, like, fuck, like, I had been hearing the same lessons, like, get some help, stop doing it by yourself, like team E isn't working.
Well, nobody's an island. I mean, you need help, and that's why even in business, people don't run businesses solely with themselves, right? You can't do everything. You can't be the marketing persons, the operations persons, the technical person. You can't be everything. You need somebody for every position in order for your business to succeed.
Oh yeah, 100% delegation.
It's the same with the NFL, right? If the dean linemen don't do their job, they put you in a poor position to be able to fill the gap. And it just so happens you're an NFL player, so you get this, right?
Yeah,
you can't win the game by yourself as the linebacker.
Yeah.
Eventually, the quarterback's can toss up all over your head, and you've got your cornerbacks and your safeties backing you up. You've got to have people on the team to help you get it done, whether it's in life, in the NFL, or in business.
Yeah,
100%. That's very true. And that was the thing that had crushed me up until that point, just going so far, just doing it alone and and then getting to a point where, because when you live in the hood, there's hardly any mentors there, hardly any people you can look up to. Like, how you learn how to do the right thing is by seeing everyone else doing the wrong thing and doing the exact opposite. So, but showing someone that's like an example of like what to do, what to be, I realized too at a younger age that it's much easier to just admire qualities that people have, instead of just admiring the full person for what they are. What they are with blinding yourself, which is a big thing, because I do love everybody for what they are, and I do understand, everyone has their good things and bad things, and things that I may like but someone else may hate, like whatever. How my perception of someone is very limited. But when the thing that I really love is like qualities that people have, like Travis, for instance. I love the fact that like how well you could speak and how well you can convey yourself and how you carry yourself and your confidence, and like it's a beautiful thing. And Carol, I just love how you're just like such a fucking badass. I fucking love it. Like I love it. Like I don't give a shit. I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like and it's like.
By the way, don't tell everybody that, because I'm not that to everybody. Because I have my inner circle where I share openly. And not that I'm not myself, I'm very protective about the energy I give out to people, because if there is somebody that is seeking to suck the energy out of me, I'm very protective about making sure they don't. Because again, it drains you, right?
But even still, I can sit here and be like, Carol is going to be Carol. Carol's going to be herself. You're going to be strong in yourself. Same thing with you too, Travis. Like you two are two people that are like, I know you guys are being yourself. Like you're not anyone, you're not trying to put on a show for anybody, you're yourselves. And that is the quality in people that I say I'd love the most, is when people are just out there as themselves, whatever that is. That's the thing that I admire the most. And I admire that in each and every person that I come across, because they always have that. Even when someone wears a mask, this energy just can't be contained. Like it comes out in other ways.
Absolutely.
And I always look for that. Like that's the only thing I look for in people. Is like, and then how did this person get themselves out? Like how does this person bring themselves out? How does this person bring themselves out?
I have a story about you and when you came out here. And so Reggie comes out when we were doing some filming and stuff, and he's this big like teddy bear. Like he should, when you see him, he's so intimidating and imposing. But the minute he opens his mouth, and it was the cutest thing, the minute he started opening his mouth and talking to me, all those like preconceived notions went away. Like this is the biggest teddy bear, and I just like want to hug him to death, right? Yeah. And that day he was telling me about like his horror story with losing his luggage. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And this is when Reggie says he goes with the flow, he fucking goes with the flow. Like they lost his luggage, he didn't have another shirt, and we're like, dude, I've got like shirts, like my event shirts like crazy. Let me, so we were giving him shirts to wear, and he gave zero fucks. Literally gave zero fucks. He just went with the flow. And that's what I loved about it. He didn't stress out. Like I would have been a mess. I would have been a freaking mess. But meanwhile, Reggie's like, fuck it. And that was it's such a great quality to have, like nothing phases you. Yeah, nothing phases you. I love that about you.
Oh, you remember when we were shooting too? Dude, so when the gun like cocked back and I cut my finger.
Yeah.
Do you know how bad that hurt, by the way?
It hurts like a mofo.
Oh, way worse than I was thinking. But I just couldn't do it at the gun range. You'd be like,
so he wrapped his slide over his finger, his like right in between.
Was it your first time, Reggie?
No, it wasn't. It was my first time getting
my
hurt.
First time.
Okay, we're not talking about guns anymore, are we?
We are talking about guns. Come on, Carol, get your mind out of together. Me and Reggie would never talk anything of just such vileness.
Never.
Oh yeah, yeah, so vile, so vile.
But that hurt so bad, and then you were looking like such a badass shooting. I was just like, I gotta be a tough guy too. And I was bleeding, and I was just like, help me. And then you got me a band-aid. And then
was it a SpongeBob SquarePants band-aid?
Dude, it was
big, yeah.
A nice band-aid. But the thing that it really patched up was my ego getting destroyed, because I didn't want to fire a gun anymore. I was like, we gotta leave. I like we gotta leave. I'm done. Because that's the thing. Like I tell people all the time, like I'm tough in a lot of areas, 100%. But after these kids, man, like I am not that tough guy anymore, man. Nope. Like if I seen Moana 10 times and cried 10 times every time. It's a beautiful movie. When she starts in the light and the wind and the sea, I'm like, I feel that. I get that.
And that's why we get along, because it's like I always now carry tissues because like my kids wanted to go see, what's the movie with the Blind Side? Yes.
Oh, the Blind Side. Oh, that was so sad.
Okay. So my kids like want to go watch it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go watch it, guys. Nobody freaking tells me. I told all my girlfriends I was going to take my kids to go watch this because they wanted to, right? Nobody tells me it's a fucking tearjerker. And I mean, shoot, if anything minor happens, I start bawling, right? So I come totally unprepared, zero Kleenex, zero nothing, lugging my kids in there to the movie theater. And all of a sudden, I'm like, it's like a faucet turned on. And have you ever had the napkins at a freaking movie? It's like fucking sandpaper. I'm sitting there rubbing it while I'm tearing up, trying to and
it gets on your face too. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. So yeah, I
popcorn,
cried.
salt, and butter in your eye from the napkin.
Oh shush.
Yeah, or the I'm just gonna
I know.
If it's sad enough, if the movie is sad enough, I will cry. Like my wife knows it, like my kids know it. And at this point, they're just like, oh, Dad, look at Dad crying. He's so sad.
It's sweet. It's so endearing that you have feelings. What the fuck is that? Like you can actually be moved. And I don't think people realize that is like, they see things like that as a weakness. To me, it's like, no, actually, I see it as a strength because I can connect with people on a very deep personal level.
Oh yeah, I would agree too. Because I would agree too. But it's also not an awesome thing when you're on a plane and the stewardess is they're playing Bridge to Terabithia, and you're sitting in between a 6-year-old random girl you never met, and then this 9-year-old, like he's a phenom with the saxophone or something. He's going to some, and I'm sitting in the middle and we're all watching Bridge to Terabithia, and I am tearing up. Like it's bad. It's bad. I was like, oh, like this is so sad. And then the stewardess comes up to me and is just like, are you okay? Like, and then the little girl next to me is just like, you seem so sad. And I was like, fuck. Like, turbulence. It's the turbulence. It always makes my eyes water. The little girl's like, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Reggie Walker teaching young ladies all over the country empathy for the first time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you'll never forget that. Like that was the biggest guy I've ever seen crying like a baby on a plane.
They're immediately like telling their friends, like, this dude, he says he was in the NFL. I don't think that's true.
Just because you cry doesn't mean you're a big tough guy. Come on. Yeah, there's two sides of everybody.
I cry. My wife makes fun of me. She's like, "You thought that was sad?" I'm like, "You didn't think it was sad?" Yeah. So, Reggie, as we get ready to wrap this up here, I want to know two things from you. One, I want to know where we can get your book, Game Within the Game, and I want any advice, anything you want to tell the audience listening today.
Okay. As far as like where you can get the book and the course, you can go to thegamewithinthegame.com. You can also check out topathletelife.com. Also for the college accredited course, you can just go through our site, gamewithinthegame.com. Also, if you wanted to connect with me or connect on with me on LinkedIn, just Reggie Walker, I'll connect with you. And as far as advice goes, it's perfectly okay to just be yourself, and trust me, at the end of the day, you'll feel much happier just being yourself in whatever you do, no matter what the fuck happens. Because if you're yourself, in every situation, you literally won't have a regret. The only time you ever feel regrets is if you knew you weren't yourself, when you didn't put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward as yourself, and you'll continue crushing it.
Great advice.
Thanks so much, Reggie. And hey, thank you everyone for joining us today.
That's all for this episode of Titan Evolution Podcast. We hope this no-holds-barred conversation opened your eyes on what it takes to live a genuinely happy life according to your own terms. Now that you've treated yourself to such a refreshing discussion, you cannot listen to nonsense content anymore. Be sure not to miss an episode by subscribing to the show at TitanEvolutionPodcast.com. Don't forget to share the word so more people can be enlightened, informed, and entertained. Thank you for listening.